Hi, Stamper fans. Welcome to another Make It Monday. I am Nan Gerlitz, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Bloomington, Illinois. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. Thank you if you're catching the replay. I appreciate you tuning in. I am live here on my YouTube channel every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central Time. You can also follow me on Facebook, where I share a lot of card designs and tips and tricks and things like that as well. So I'd love to see you over there and come follow me and we'll just continue the conversation. If you are watching live tonight, go ahead and drop a comment in the chat so I know that you're here and so that I know that comments are working. That's always helpful. So tonight I have a simple looking card for you, but it's got a cool little twist to it. So this is, there we go. It's kind of hard to see on here. You'll see it better on when I zoom the camera down, but it's got a two-step stamp. So it's got a kind of a built-in shadow on the stamping. It's a very cool little technique that I'm going to show you how to do tonight. And it's super, super simple. So if you're looking for a card that has a little bit of an impact, but you need to make it quick, this is an easy one to do. And you can choose all your colors and it really makes a difference. I will also show you a couple of alternatives using this same technique at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. With that, let's switch the view. There we go. So let me pull this up so you can really see. There we go. So you can see I've stamped it in black, and then there is another light blue stamping just in the shadow of it. So I will show you the easy way that you can do that with the right tools. Okay, so as always, in the video description, you will find a link to the full supply list, as well as cardstock measurements are always there. So you can sit back and relax and just watch and listen. You don't have to write anything down or make any notes or anything if you don't want. If you do, that's fine too, but that link is always there for your convenience. I believe also in the video description tonight, I have linked to a free event that Stampin' Up! Is doing, a free virtual event on, I believe it's October 1st, if that's the Saturday, if somebody wants to let me know. That is World Card Making Day. And yes, that is a real thing. It was started by a paper crafting magazine. I can't remember which one off the top of my head. I looked this up last year, so I could remember. It was not started by Stampin' Up, but we are happy to celebrate it every first Saturday in October. So they are holding a virtual event. It's free. You can register or you can just hop on the day of, but there is a link to that page so you can see all of the details and you can see what's going to be happening. All right. With that, let's get going and see what we're going to be working with today. So we have one stamp set we're going to be working with, and that's the Good Feeling stamp set. I absolutely love this one because look at these big chunky greetings that take up, as you can see, like a whole card. You don't have to do a lot of figuring out your layout or anything. These guys can be the star of the show. So we're going to be using this Sending Sunshine and Good Feelings Your Way. And all this week over on my Facebook page, I will be featuring cards that are just because you're thinking of somebody. Not birthday or any other special occasion, just because. So tune into that, and that's why we're using that one tonight. We're using 2 ink pads so we can get that shadow effect. We're using our Tuxedo Black Memento ink pad, and then our Pool Party for the shadow. And then we've got our various cardstock. Not a lot to it. It's kind of a monochromatic card. Thank you very much, sweetheart. October 1st is a Saturday. That's what I thought. So we're starting with a piece of Pool Party cardstock that's 8.5 by 5.5 inches, scored it at 4 1/4. We're going to go ahead and give that a good burnish with our bone folder. And that way it lays nice and flat. Then we've got a piece of basic black cardstock. I just want to check my measurement here. Yes, it is 5 3/8 inches by 4 1/8 inch, right? Anyway. And then we have two identical basic white pieces that are each 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And then we have a small piece of designer paper. This is from the Design a Daydream pack, which is my current favorite pack of paper. This one is 4 inches by 2 inches. And that's all the cardstock we'll be using. We will also be using the main attraction here. That's funny. My magnets are sticking to my little metal tray. So this is the beautiful tool that is going to give us that cool shadow effect. This is our Stamparatus. It's a stamp positioning tool. And as you can see, when you get the Stamparatus, it comes with the platform itself. You get a foam pad, and you get 2 plates that are interchangeable. So you really have, these act like the acrylic blocks for your stamps. So you actually mount the stamp right on that, and it's like a big acrylic block. But the cool thing is you can use both sides of these, and you have 2 of them. So you have 4 acrylic blocks here, and there's a lot of really great advantages. As you can see, when it's straight up and down, it'll lift right out. If it's at an angle, it stays in there. So you can swing it back and forth. And I'll be showing you more about that as we're using it. Okay. The other couple of things we'll be using tonight are our best trio punch, corner punch. We're going to use, there we go, that little corner notch for that top corner piece. It just gives it a little bit of extra interest instead of just rectangle, rectangle, rectangle. And we're using our black and white gingham ribbon, super fun. And you can see I'm almost out of it. So we'll either have to order more of that or find something else that we want to replace it with. We will also be using our fine sparkle adhesive backed gems. Yes, I have to read packaging all the time, people. I don't remember the name of everything. But as I think I told you in a previous video, these pool party ones are going fast. That's obviously a favorite color of mine. And those are the ones we're using tonight. And I'll also be using some tear and tape along with our regular adhesives. Okay, let's get going here. Okay, so as always, I'm going to get the inside of my card done. So that's out of the way. Let's make a little bit of room here. We're going to use part of this designer paper that we've got. So I am just going to cut a 1/2 inch off, and we'll use that to decorate the inside piece. And then that piece will be for the front. Because this is such a tiny little sliver, I usually opt for my liquid glue. You absolutely could use your Stampin' Seal with this. I think it's just the right width. But the problem is I never have a straight hand when I'm doing that. So I'm bound to go off a little bit. So you don't need much of this, just a little ribbon of glue there. And that also gives me a little bit of wiggle room so I can get it right up at the top where I wanted it. And boom. All right, let's go ahead and put a little Stampin' Seal on the back. And I just do like a top and bottom of the short side pretty much. You can do a little bit in each corner if you'd rather. You do not need to cover the entire back of your cardstock. It is a strong adhesive and it will hold just fine. So you don't need to go around every side and make the X in the middle and all that stuff. We've got improved adhesive these days, guys. Don't waste it. Okay, so that's our middle done. And actually, we can go ahead and attach this piece of black as well. Let's just get all those steps out of the way, right? Less pieces to deal with. And yes, I always double check that I've got this opening the correct way and that I've got the top on the top, because I literally had to pull an entire card front off because I mounted it to the back of the card once. So, and I've mounted things backwards and all sorts of stuff like that. So we're going to have a skinny little ribbon of blue around this. It's going to be a little different than our sample. I just cut them a little differently. The reason being is because I wanted the white pieces to be the same, so it was easy measurements for you all. Okay, so we can put that aside for right now, and let's get our Stamparatus out here and have some fun with that. So the Stamparatus is really great if you're making multiple cards. So holiday season coming up, that means people are going to be making, you know, tens and tens and hundreds of whatever of Christmas cards mostly. And boy, if you had like one or two designs and you were just making so many multiples, wouldn't it be nice if you had all your stamps just lined up and you just had to put the cardstock in and just boom, 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 done. It makes it a lot faster, let me tell you. So when you're using the Stamparatus, if you're using our photopolymer stamps, the clear ones, then you're going to use this foam piece, and that gives it that extra thickness. But we are using the red rubber cling stamps. Those have the foam built in. So you don't need this foam piece for your cling stamps. So this will work with either, and it's just fine. A little bit of adhesive on there. So this, the base here is a nice, it's got a nice shiny finish on it, so ink will wipe right off of there. It'll clean up beautifully. You can get, you know, your adhesives off pretty easily. It's got a grid on both sides. So it's a 7x7 base, 7-inch by 7-inch base. But you'll notice that these two sides are open. So if you had a 12x12 piece of cardstock, you were working on a scrapbook layout, and you wanted to use this, you could slide that all the way into the corner, and you know, a 7x7-inch piece of it would be in here, but the rest just hangs over and it's just fine. The other thing that you get besides your plates are 2 magnets. Now I have my magnets wrapped in painter's tape. You could do washi tape, whatever like that. It's just for ease of pickup because these are very strong magnets. You'll notice they've got little holder places right in the back here, and you've got little non-slip feet, rubber feet on the bottom too. So it's going to stay in place really well. When you store this, you do want to take one of the plates out so that everything lays flat and you're not putting extra pressure on your hinges. But when you're using it, you can just have both of them out and it's fine. So I have to remember how I did this. Yes, I need my corner up this way. So how we're going to do this, normally you can just put your cardstock all the way in the corner. If you're not, sometimes the hinges will kind of interfere with stamping a little bit. So if you're finding that, you can always kind of, what I usually do is go by the Stampin' Up! Logo, and I just make sure I always put it in that corner. So you can go by a grid here. You can even mark that with some washi tape or painter's tape or something like that. We also sell these small grid papers that are made to use in the Stamparatus. So you could actually mark up on there exactly where your cardstock goes to. For this particular demonstration, we're going to use that corner. So to start with, to stamp the black ink, I'm going to start slightly away from that corner. So there's just a slight gap up here, and there's a slight gap here. I should have got my magnet out to start with. I'm finding out that everything I use is metallic. It just stuck to the leg of my light. So, so I want to make sure that it doesn't move. So I've just popped my magnet down, and then I will put my stamp face down as if, okay, that's where I want it to go. Now I can just pull that plate down, pick up my stamp just like it would stick to an acrylic block. Let me move this into the shot for you. Now you normally want to put, oh, actually, you can take your stamp case, put it right under that plate, and that keeps it nice and level, so when you're inking up your stamp, it's a lot easier and you won't get ink all over your plate. So I'm going to take the Memento Black ink, and we're going to go ahead and ink up the stamp. And then we're just going to swing it down. And what I like to do is use a dry erase board marker, or eraser. And I just kind of go up and down. It gives it really good even pressure so you get a good image. Now, you'll see, oh my gosh, that whole middle part did not transfer. And you're like, it's ruined. I got to do it again. No, you don't. Just go ahead and ink up that stamp again. And it's going to come down in the exact same place, which is another fabulous thing on the Stamparatus. So if you're ever frustrated because you don't put enough pressure on things or you didn't ink stuff right and you're finding you're wasting a lot of cardstock because you have to throw out all your mistakes, the Stamparatus will just keep you going right back down in the same spot. And I think what I discovered the other night, I think I might have a little bit of a warp in my plate here, and that's what's going on. So, but you'll see this little extra pressure in the middle, boom, it's perfect. So now what I'm going to do, and as a matter of fact, I'll bring that up so you can see, like it's stamped in exactly the same place. I love it. Now I'm going to snug it all the way into the corner. Let me grab my chamois real quick. So I'm going to take my Simply Chamois and I'm going to clean the black ink off of that stamp. Now we're going to come in with our Pool Party ink pad and we're going to ink that stamp up again with the Pool Party. And because we've moved it slightly, it's going to stamp just a little bit below and to the right. So once again, I know I've got that spot in the middle. I'm going to give that a good push. And there we go. So we've got a really cool shadow effect there with the exact same stamp, and all we had to do was move it like 1/8 of an inch, probably 1/16 of an inch. So, and let me get my sample out here. You can see that this one is definitely closer stamped, and this one has more of a gap in it. And that's just a matter of where I put the cardstock to start. So it was a little bit more out from the corner on this one that I stamped tonight, and the other one was a little closer. So you can play around with those gaps and see what you like. I really like that effect on that, so that's just fine. Let me clean my stamp off real quick. I love the chamois for this as well because it's just a quick wipe. And if you got any on the plate, you can do the same thing. You're all good. And just peel that right off. I'm going to take my plate off so I can store that. Okay. So that's all the stamping, but that was really cool and impressive. I hope that came off well on camera. Okay, let's go ahead. Oop, cover up my ink pad before I get ink everywhere. And I'm just going to take our trio corner punch here and just lop off that one corner. Absolutely love this punch. You've seen me use it quite a few times, I think. Okay, and then before we assemble, I have to find that little piece, there it is, of designer paper that I had. It tried to hide on me, but I found it. All right, so we're going to put this on first. Now, another thing that I have found is when I'm trying to get this all the way down on the bottom and even with the card, there's a couple of things you can do. First of all, if you're working on white grid paper or white paper at all and you've got white cardstock, sometimes I find that, oh, I think I got that right, but then when I pick it up, there's white showing. So you can get that white out of the way, and then you can see if you have any white, or you can stand this up and kind of scooch that up to it. And now you know that you've got them even because they were both standing, you know, just like you're snugging up a sheet of paper or something. All right. Now a little bit of ribbon. Easiest ribbon ever, no tying involved. We just need a little bit of overlap on each side. And this is where our tear and tape is going to come in handy, and I'm going to be smart this time and tear off both of the pieces I need ahead of time. And I think I've told you guys before, but it always bears repeating, especially for any new viewers. I like to use tear and tape when I am doing my ribbon like this, because the ribbon on the back of the card, once you adhere it, it's kind of trying to pull the cardstock away. It's got a little bit of that pressure that's trying to pull away. So tear and tape will both hold it in place. Then when I take that backing off, that adhesive will hold it to the cardstock as well. So definitely love this. All right, give that a little bit of a rub to get that adhesive stuck down, and just a little bit of regular seal top and bottom. And my take your pick tool, because instead of fighting with that backing with my nails, or lack thereof, depending on what week it is, I just use my take your pick tool. All right. Center that up. If you ever have trouble centering your cardstock layers like that too, sometimes when you're working with grid paper, those lines are confusing your eyes. So again, if you take that away and you have a surface, even like my countertop here would actually help, because it doesn't have straight lines, so it's not confusing my eyes. So if you're having trouble, that may be one of the things you can do to alleviate your lining up troubles. All right. And then we're going to take one of these fabulous gems. Absolutely love these. And just pop that into the corner. And there we are. We are done. That was a pretty quick card, guys. It's only 7:22. But really fun and impressive with that cool shadow stamping effect. So now let me show you a couple of alternatives that I did with some different words. So here's a woohoo. And so I've got that bright green coming out. It almost looks yellow in this light, doesn't it? But that is the Parakeet Party. This is our black and white designer papers. And this gray is actually on the back of this white. All I did was score it and fold it over because I wanted it to be a little smaller anyway. And then that mimics our little ribbon perfectly. So that's a nice little addition there. And then the last one I have for you uses a stamp set that it's called a Grand Kid. So it's actually got a whole bunch of things for grandchildren, but it's got this fabulous chunky happy birthday stamp in it. So that just looks like something you do, digitally. But all I did was stamp the black, and then I stamped that daffodil off center, and it's got that great shadow effect. Absolutely love it. So a super simple technique that really gives you a lot of bang for your buck, right? Again, this is that Design a Daydream paper that I absolutely love. We've got a little ribbon to match and a little scalloped circle around the edge. And on each of these, I just used a little bit of that designer paper in the middle to bring it in. You can also use that on your envelope to tie everything together so everybody knows that they've got something special coming before they even open their envelope. So let me get back here so I can chat with you for a minute. Hello there. All right, I just want to make sure I'm telling you everything you need to know. One of the major things I wanted to let you know is Celebration freebies are going to be ending in 2 days. Wednesday, the end of day Wednesday, they're over with. We have already sold out of a few things, so they're no longer available. But quite a few things still are, and they added some regular product as well that will be available free with a qualifying order. So make sure you're checking out what's available so you don't miss your favorites, because inevitably September 1st, somebody will email me and say, oh, I forgot to get my order in, and I really wanted those hippos, or I really wanted those flower dies, or whatever it was. So make sure that you are checking that out before Wednesday night. You can go shop right here at stampernan.stampinup.net. and click the Shop Now button. That will tell you everything you need to know. You can just click on Sale on the Celebration, and it will show you all of the available things. Some are available with a $50 order, some are available with a $100 order, and any multiple of that. So if you order $150 worth of product, you can get 3 of those lower level products, or you can get one of the 2 second level and one of the ones. So any combination of that. Also, be sure to follow me over on Facebook, where I will be sharing all of the Just Because Thinking of You occasion cards this week. And I do share, we pretty much tend to share every day of the week on Facebook, so you get a little something new all the time. And we share a lot of other little fun things as well. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. If you leave a comment right here on this video, I will get a notification and I can get back to you that way. Or you can message me on Facebook. You can reach me at stampernan@gmail.com. Yeah, all the ways. So, okay, that's about all I have for you tonight. Until next Monday, I'm still Nan Gerlitz. Happy stamping.